According to EAG News, St. Paul teachers threatened to strike over lack of student discipline. And St. Paul School Board has allowed a California nonprofit to tell them to reduce black student suspicions because behavior rules are due to white cultural norms and as a result of white privilege. This is amazing, folks. It just keep on giving. The bad kids were given time out instead of being suspended. Let's see here. There have been assaults on students, teachers, and staff in the halls and classrooms, and it's only going to get worse. I have to tell you, I heard about this story a while back, and it was just shocking to hear that they would no longer discipline these out of control, angry thugs that have been raised or being raised by parents who could care less about them, black parents who could care about them. And so now when they go to school, they are not being disciplined. Just imagine those kids who are stuck in those classrooms who are trying to do their best, but because they're in the inner city, they can't afford to leave due to the fact that they can't take their tax dollars and go somewhere else because the civil rights movement, the civil rights leaders, just Barack Obama and others, are against school vouchers. And so these people are using white privilege to say this is why these black kids are out of control. Not true. The reason that they don't want to discipline these children in St. Paul and around the country is because of money. They get money based on head counts, the number of kids who are in the classrooms. And most of these black children are born out of wedlock. They do not have fathers there to guide them, to protect them, to provide for them, to be an example for them, to discipline for them. And it's impossible almost for mothers to do it. And these kids are growing up angry in their homes. They go out into the school, into the community, or in the public, and they're told that it's racism and not a lack of moral character or bad parenting, and so they're out of control. And so what these hustlers are doing is saying, well, it's not because the kids are bad, the rules are bad. The rules are due to white cultural norms. What are black norms? Do the right thing, work hard, don't be angry, treat people the way you would like to be treated, respect your neighbor. Those are God's norms. But they want to blame it on white Americans because they are failing. The lack of character, the lack of respect, the lack of having children under the umbrella of marriage, and loving your neighbor as yourself is not working. And so instead of correcting themselves, they're trying to blame it on white people again. It's only going to get worse before it gets better. Rather than putting these bad children out of those classrooms, they'd rather risk the lives of the teachers, the administration, and everyone else for the dollar bill. That's what it's about, folks. They don't care about these children, the bad ones or the good ones. They rather blame it on racism, and then they're going to say, oh, we need more programs. We need more money. We need more of this. They're using this idea of racism, which doesn't exist, by the way, as a means to gain power and wealth. St. Paul teacher Aaron Benner said in 2011, I was punched by a black boy. The principal brought him back in the classroom 10 minutes later. No write-up, no nothing. I was like, what? Are you serious? This is what's going on. I've been saying for the last 25 years that the race hustlers do not care about black people or black kids. They are using them for the redistribution of power and wealth to gain money and power. Here's another example. As a black man, I can say they are hurting black kids. This organization says black kids shouting out in classroom is a black cultural norm. That's what this particular teacher said. St. Paul teacher Aaron Bennett said. So they don't care about these kids being out of control. As a matter of fact, they want them out of control so that they can cry racism. Then they can cry more programs. We need money to fund this and fund that to further their own personal agenda. And so what I say to white Americans, you got to start standing up and saying no to these people, no more. Racism is an illusion. We're not going to let you manipulate us anymore. This is about right and wrong. This is about family or the lack thereof. This is about moral character. And schools like this in the inner cities are getting worse rather than getting better because the people who are running the schools, the politicians, the liberal, democratic politicians, whomever they might be, even some Republicans, can care less about the children. They do not care about the teachers. They don't care about the principals. They care about the power. There was one situation where people at this particular school in St. Paul have been hospitalized. And with concussions and brain injuries from the violence in the school. Can you imagine that? They have been hospitalized with concussions and brain injuries from this school in St. Paul. You have to be crazy to go there and teach. There's no way I would go into that school and put my life at risk on a bunch of out-of-control children who have never understood what was right or been taught to do the right thing and put your life at risk. They don't care about you at all. So I would go there. If I were these teachers, I would walk away from these schools and let whomever want to be there, but I would walk away because these kids are angry, demoralized, brainwashed, and dumbed down. I remember talking to some gang members recently, and they said to take a life of another person is nothing to them. It's like eating a piece of cake. It has no emotional effect on them at all. So this school in St. Paul is only going to get worse before it gets better. Even the Obama administration agrees with this lack of discipline because they want chaos. They want these kids to be out of control so that they could cry discrimination against black kids. They want to have the opportunity to cry discrimination against black kids, and this is the way to do it because white people are afraid, have fallen for the lie that racism exists, and they're trying to prove that they're not racist. You can't prove a lie, an illusion.